Good morning, YouTube peeps. This is Travis again, and I know I am too old to be using the term peeps, but I used it anyway. So today, we're actually at Laurel Falls, and I've actually done that trail before, and you're probably looking at the title right now going, Travis, why does it say something else other than Laurel Falls? Because, I don't know if you know or not, but there is another trail across the road. So let's check it out. All right, so I parked across the street, actually over on the Laurel Falls side, just because it'll make it a little easier when I get out today, because this parking lot will be completely filled by the time I get back from this trail. So anyway, just be prepared for that. But today I'm going to be hiking Sugarland Mountain Trail up to Husky Gap Trail. So it's 3.1 miles, and then we'll come to an intersection, and then I'm just going to turn around and come back. So anyway, before we get started, let me give you some directions on how to get here, and those are coming up right now. If you're driving from the Maryville-Alcoa area, you'll pass through the city of Townsend. When you come up to the Townsend Y, today we're actually going to make a left. If you go to the right, that takes you back towards Cades Cove. But like I mentioned, we are going to go to the left today, which is in the direction of Gatlinburg. So we're coming up on the parking area, and the trail that we're going to be hiking today is actually over to our right, but I am going to park on the left just to make it a little easier when I get ready to leave. But just for some information, the distance or time, I guess, to get from the Townsend Y to this point is actually about 20 minutes. So just take that into account when you turn left at the Townsend Y. It'll take you about 20 minutes to get here. But let me get parked and situated, and I'll catch back up with you in just a minute. All right, welcome back. So let me get my chest mount set up here with the GoPro, and we'll get started. All right, so here we go. And the trail says to go to the left, which is what we're gonna do. And I'm always a little bit leery when I start a trail and it automatically starts going uphill. But we'll see how bad this is going to be. I'm going to try to get a shot here of the parking lot in just a minute from where we're at. So, as I mentioned, there is quite a bit of parking here right now, as long as you get here early. The good news about this trail is there are probably not going to be a lot of people on this one. The bad news is you're going to be fighting for parking for all the people that are going to be going over to Laurel Falls, which is probably the most visited trail and waterfall in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. So just remember that. Get here early. So I don't expect this trail to be super exciting. I don't believe there's any streams by it. I don't believe there is a waterfall, no cabin to visit. So I don't really expect to see a whole lot on this trail other than kind of what you're seeing right now. However, like I mentioned, I didn't even know this trail existed until recently. I always knew Laurel Falls, and that's where the majority of everyone goes, but whew, you can tell from my breathing, this incline's already starting to get to me a little bit. I need to slow down. But Laurel Falls is by far the most popular trail, probably in the whole park, just because it's a short one and you get to see a pretty nice waterfall at the end, and it is paved. Oh gosh, there's a bear right down here. I don't know if you can see him. See him right down here? Try to move up just a little bit. I was not expecting that today. There he goes up the bank. which is pretty awesome because this is the first bear that I've seen so far this year. And you see how fast he went up that hill? He's all the way up here now. And he didn't even break a sweat to get up there. Holy cow. And if you think that you can outrun a bear, forget it. These things are extremely fast. Because I've always joked about, hey, I can outrun one. No, you can't outrun one of these. The good news is that the black bears here in East Tennessee are very, very docile. As you saw, he just took off up the hill. He didn't want to have anything to do with me. So that's the good news. Typically, you will never have an issue. I saw probably 12 to 15 bears last year while hiking. Never had an issue. There are 2 times, though, that I would warn against. One, if you come across a mama bear with cubs, do not get close to that mama bear. She will be very aggressive protecting her cubs, which I don't blame her. And if you're between a bear and a food source, they can get a little aggressive. But otherwise, you can come up here and hike and see these wonderful creatures in nature and not have an issue. I do carry bear spray, though, in my backpack on the side pocket just in case, because I'd rather have it than not. But honestly, I don't think I would ever have to use it. But like I said, better safe than sorry. But anyway, I'll tell you right now, I said this was going to be probably kind of a boring hike. There wasn't going to be a lot to see. But man, I've already seen a bear. That's freaking awesome. Probably my favorite thing to do when I'm on a hike is to see a bear. All right, so I've been walking now for about 15 or 20 minutes, and it has been uphill the entire way, and it looks like it's going to continue that way for a while, so be prepared for that. But just wanted to give you a quick shot. Hopefully I can do this so that the sun doesn't completely blind you in the GoPro, but the sun is starting to come up. It is 7:20 a.m. Sunrise was officially at 6:53 this morning, so I tried to get up here right at sunrise. I was a few minutes late, but anyway, as you can see, the leaves are starting to turn green, grow back from the winter, and in the fall you can see just about everything because there's nothing blocking your view. But now as everything starts to grow again in the spring, visibility is going to be a little limited. Well, as you can see too, that the flowers are starting to bloom, which is pretty awesome. A lot of wildflowers here in the mountains to enjoy. Just make sure you look at them, take some photos, but do not pick those. That is against the law in the state park. But definitely enjoy them while you're here, because they are beautiful and they last for a short period of time. Once summer hits, most of the flowers will disappear. Alright, so here's about the third crossing I've come across just for some rainwater flowing down. So not too bad. Haven't had anything that's been deep, but as you can see, it does make the trail a little slick, but nothing too bad so far. Well, you can hear the birds too. And like I said, this is pretty much what I expect most of the trail to look like the entire way up here. Here's a little bit better view. Sunlight's not gonna shine in on the GoPro so bad, but hopefully you can see the mountains in the background and a little bit of the fog. Looks like smoke, hence the name, the Smoky Mountains. Well, I'm coming up on another spot here. It looks like we might have a good view if the sun doesn't blind us, which it looks like it's going to. Let's try to put the sun behind a tree for a second. So you can see the mountains off in the distance, but with the leaves starting to grow again, on all the trees. Visibility is going to be limited, but when you're here in person, it is so much better. All right, so about the first 25 minutes is straight uphill, so be prepared for that. There's really not a break. So this is the first spot where it's leveled out. Now we're starting to go downhill, which will help me catch my breath a little bit. But to be honest, I prefer to save most of the downhill on the way back. Make it a little easier on me. Alright, so just a quick update. There is a lot of downhill now on this trail, which is benefiting me at the moment, but I realize on the way back I'm gonna have to climb back up this. So anyway, we'll see how bad that is when I'm heading back. But yeah, the first 25 minutes uphill, now I'm going downhill. So you're gonna have to battle the inclines at some point regardless. All right, so finally made it here, as far as I'm gonna go, to the trail intersection. So Newfound Gap Road is 2 miles to our left. Little River Trail, 2.1 to our right. If we were to continue to go this direction, Rough Creek Trail, 4.1 miles, and the Appalachian Trail is 8.9. And then where we just came from, which is odd, Fighting Creek Gap. That's a different name than what I was expecting, but it was Sugarland Mountain Trail. I guess that's the whole thing from start to finish. But it was basically 3.1 miles up here. It is 8:37, so it took me a little over an hour and a half. So 6.2 round trip, totaling probably a little over 3 hours, depending on how fast you travel. But let me go up here, look at this real quick. I saw this sign, I just wanted to see what it says. Warning, burned area. Please be alert, stay on trail, avoid this area during and after high wind. Do not linger around burned trees. Hazards include loose rocks, falling trees or limbs, and flooding. Parts of the trail may be damaged and or blocked by debris. Trees along the trail may have been weakened. All right, and that's a fairly new sign that's been put up, but like I said, we are not going that direction. We are ending here and gonna head back down the mountain as soon as I have a chance to rest and grab something to drink. So anyway, again, this is the direction we came up. We've got a trail that goes off to the left, one to the right, and continues on. But that is more mileage than I can do today. So anyway, I'll do my final monologue here in a minute. All right, so that was Sugarland Mountain Trail. I guess it's Fighting Creek Gap was the portion that I hiked. 3.1 miles to get to this point, so 6.2 round trip. Gonna take a little over 3 hours round trip to hike. Pretty decent trail. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of incline involved, so be prepared for that. Not really a lot to see, but it is just a good trail to be out kind of by yourself and in nature. I did see the bear early on, which was an awesome treat. Always love seeing a bear while I'm out on the trail. But pretty much just a nice walk in the woods, just very quiet and peaceful. So if that's what you're looking for, I highly recommend it. Just remember, you are going to be fighting for parking against all the people that'll be down at Laurel Falls, so make sure you get here early. But as far as like people on the trail, I haven't seen anybody as of yet, so this is a nice one just to kind of get out and get away by yourself. But hopefully you enjoyed that video. If you did, please go ahead and hit the like button, and I would ask that you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That way when I post any new videos, you'll get a notification. But until next time, we'll see you then.